What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Full Court Press. I'm your host, Cole, alongside my cameraman, Hunter, and today is going to launch our March Madness series. This is going to be episode 1. It's going to be the first video. I'm not really sure what we're going to call it yet, but this is going to be our first video here on our channel, and we're going to be discussing some March Madness content. The date we're filming this is March the 2nd, Thursday, March the 2nd. As many of you know, Champ Week is underway. Some of the smaller mid-major conference tournaments have begun, and we will have the Ohio Valley Conference Tournament on, I believe it's either Friday or Saturday night. I may have to fact check myself on that. But also in the mid-major conference news, actually tonight we have Antoine Davis trying to break Pete Maravich's NCAA tournament record for the all-time points leader in NCAA history. I believe he is 27 points away from breaking that, 26 to tie, as Detroit Mercy will take on Youngstown State. And we will see if he can get it done. He has been very hot of lately, although he's been taking a lot of shot attempts. With Antoine Davis being a fifth-year senior, he's obviously been given the opportunity to catch Pistol Pete Maravich. He's been given this extra year. He plays for his dad, and he's been given the opportunity to shoot a lot of shots that when he entered the transfer portal this past summer, he possibly would not get at any other Power 5 program, whether it would be like an Auburn that he was interested in, like a Memphis, for example, like Kendrick Davis does for Memphis already. Also a part of Champ Week, as you all know, alongside of the mid-majors conference tournaments already starting, we have the power conferences. They are in their rivalry week. This Saturday, we have a ton of big games. We have an absolutely amazing slate, obviously being head-capped by the best rivalry in college basketball, Duke versus North Carolina. Now, we're going to talk about this game first because of the importance it has for one of these two teams. This game means obviously more for the North Carolina Tar Heels, as they are obviously on the bubble and they are on the fence of possibly not making this year's NCAA tournament after reaching the national final last year. They brought back 4 starters this year alongside Coach Hubert Davis, and it is Armando Bacot and Leaky Black senior night. The Dean Dome will be rocking, and they're going to have to limit their turnovers and take care of the basketball if they want to win this game, which they did not do in this first matchup. Alongside the other side of the spectrum, for the Duke Blue Devils, this is Jon Scheyer's chance to be the first coach to sweep the North Carolina Tar Heels in their first year as a Duke head coach. The Duke Blue Devils have been playing their best basketball of the season over the last month, and they would like to win this game for the bragging rights, but as well as, of course, to have some momentum going into their conference tournament, with the ACC tournament being next week, as well as build some momentum going into the NCAA tournament with another good win on their resume. Staying in the same conference in the ACC, a battle between the Pittsburgh Panthers and the Miami Hurricanes. This will be the battle of who wins the regular season crown in the ACC. Now, Pitt has been slipping as of lately. They've lost some games they shouldn't have, but they are a veteranized team, and they're going to be going up against a team that they honestly match up really well against for Miami. This will be Miami's first ACC regular season title since the 2012-2013 season, where they were led by Shane Larkin, who also won ACC Player of the Year that year. This game for Pitt would be huge because they were picked second to last in the preseason poll for the ACC. And Jeff Capel, a former Duke assistant head coach under Mike Krzyzewski, is the front runner to win the ACC Head Coach of the Year this year with the absolutely tremendous job he has done with Pittsburgh this year. Miami is looking to win this game to get the #1 seed in the ACC tournament and also build their resume to be a top 16 seed in the NCAA tournament. For our next game we're going to talk about is going to be when the Kentucky Wildcats go to Fayetteville, Arkansas this weekend to play the Razorbacks. Eric Musselman has his team playing so well right now with Nick Smith coming back from his injury. And John Calipari, since the Kansas game, had Kentucky rolling until they lost a heartbreaker the other night versus Vanderbilt. This is a big game for both of these teams as they both want to build some momentum going into March, as well as the SEC tournament, and it could have huge seeding implications on if one of them are going to ultimately end up winning the SEC title and compete with Alabama for it. Some other SEC news that unfortunately has come out this week is that Tennessee point guard Zakai Ziegler unfortunately tore his ACL the other night in their game. So he is going to miss this year's NCAA tournament, which is an absolutely huge blow for the Volunteers, as they had really high hopes with a very, very veteranized team that were poised to make a deep run in March after a very early exit last year. As we move to the Big East, as the UConn Huskies go on the road to play the red-hot Villanova Wildcats, who now we originally thought they were dead, but now are on the bubble and on the fringe of possibly making it to the NCAA tournament under first-year head coach Kyle Neptune. Ever since Justin Moore has returned to this lineup, Villanova is 6-4 and playing their best basketball of the season so far. Villanova will have a huge test as they will go up against UConn's front line of Adama Sanogo and Donovan Clingan. It's going to be very important for Eric Dixon to not get in foul trouble and to be able to stretch the floor for Villanova to have success in this game. If Villanova wins this game, they will be set up to play Providence in the first round of the Big East tournament, they will be in the second round of the Big East tournament, assuming they beat Georgetown, who has mightily struggled this year. And this would be huge for the Wildcats' bubble sink to reach the NCAA tournament if they win this game, and then they ultimately set up a matchup against Providence, who they have split the matchup with this year. As we move to the Mountain West, a key bubble matchup in the Mountain West is the Boise State Broncos go to a very hostile environment at Utah State. If Utah State wins this game, they will very much make a strong case to be in the NCAA tournament. Boise State, with a win earlier this week over San Diego State, have almost clinched themselves an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament, barring any bad losses in the Mountain West tournament. And then as we move out west in the Pac-12, there is an absolute heavyweight matchup between the Arizona Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. UCLA has clinched the regular season title for the Pac-12, but Arizona got the best of UCLA earlier this year. UCLA will look to get revenge on Arizona in this game as they want to plead their case to get the #1 seed in the Pac-12 tournament, as well as try to get a #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament upcoming. If UCLA can stay out of foul trouble and get stops on the defensive end and slow down Arizona's high-potent offense, I think that will be the key to the game for Mick Cronin's squad to win this game. And on the flip side, Tommy Floyd just has to keep the high-octane, fast-paced offense going like they did in the first matchup. They kind of got UCLA tired last time, they got them in foul trouble, and they got to the foul line, and they dominated them on the glass. I think they will have to do a lot of that again if they want to be successful and come out on top in that game. And now we're going to move into our last segment that we're going to try to use in every single video. And in the future, we're going to probably use your guys' comments in the comment section if you have any questions or concerns. And we're going to use this as a rapid-fire Q&A at the end of all of our videos. And now Hunter is going to full court press myself with some of these big matchups we have this weekend. and I'm going to give you my prediction on who I think is going to win these matchups. So Hunter, let's get started.
Kentucky versus Arkansas.
Ultimately, with Nick Smith back, I do believe that Arkansas at home will win this game. I do think they will be able to cause a lot of problems for Kentucky defensively.
Arizona versus UCLA.
I think UCLA has played their best basketball over the last month or so. I do think they will get revenge on Arizona this game, as they have not been playing their best basketball as of late.
Miami versus Pitt.
Miami is at home, and Pittsburgh has not been playing well. I believe Miami is just going to have too many guards for them to be able to defend. I just think Miami is going to create too many matchup problems for Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Miami.
UConn versus Villanova.
I think Villanova is going to win this game, and they are going to sneak into the NCAA tournament. They have been playing their best ball with Justin Moore in the lineup, and it's just one of those games where UConn just may not see it coming, and Villanova, I do think, ultimately will come out on top.
Boise versus Utah State.
This is a tough one. It should be a very low-scoring battle. It's going to be a rock fight, but I do think Boise will end up edging them out. I think it will probably be a very ugly game in the first half, but ultimately I think Boise will have the guards down the stretch to take care of the basketball and make free throws at the end of this game to help them come out on top.
And lastly, Duke versus Chapel Hill.
So this is probably the toughest one of the weekend. Although North Carolina is more talented, Duke this year has played like the better team. With this being Armando Bacot as well as Leaky Black's senior night, they are going to come out with a vengeance. They are not going to want to lose their last home game after losing to Duke earlier this year, and after they ruined Coach K's last home game last year. I do ultimately think that if Duke is unable to take care of the basketball, that North Carolina's guards will be able to get out and run in transition. And I do ultimately think that on the road, the scene just might be a little bit too big for Duke's guards. I am going to go with North Carolina in a close one. And with that, that is going to complete the first segment of Full Court Pressure. Here in the future, if you guys want to leave comments in the comments section, please do, because we kind of want to turn this segment into where we answer your guys' questions, or we answer your guys' concerns or topics you may want discussed. Hopefully we can do that in the future. But with that, that is going to be the end of the segment that we're going to call Full Court Pressure. We want to thank all of you that tuned in to this video, as this has been our first episode of Full Court Press. Obviously, we want to have many more with all of the hot sports that are getting ready to come out here soon, whether that's March Madness, the NFL Draft, the NFL Combine, NFL Free Agency, much more. We hope to really bring you a lot of content over here the next couple of months, the next couple of weeks, and so on and so forth. But this is going to conclude our first episode. This was Rivalry Week edition, and we want to please encourage you to like, comment any questions you may have, and to please hit that subscribe button, as we want to keep bringing this content to you and to kind of keep the ball rolling with this. And with that, we thank you for watching. If you made it this long, this has been Full Court Press.